Guys, in today's video I'm going to show you how to make a basic kimchi. I get so many questions about how to make kimchi, and so many of you are asking me and messaging me that you're scared of it, that so many times it didn't go right for one reason or another, or you thought it didn't go right, which I think it's very hard to achieve. It's a pretty easy thing to do. However, if you are quite new to fermentation, you need to really get used to the certain flavors, certain smells, certain sounds. You cannot be scared of a bit of a mold building up on things, and those things take time. So definitely fermentation is a process. It's very easy to do. Then it goes into observing what goes in those big jars when we actually put the fermented stuff in. So today I'm going to show you how to make like a quite basic kimchi, and then as I go I'll tell you how we can build up on it, how can you experiment. But I think it's quite good to start with something pretty easy, pretty foolproof. So yeah, let's get on. So I did a few preps before, just because they are super boring, nothing interesting to show you, and I can always kind of like write up a little post about it if you wish. So here we're gonna use the main ingredient, obviously, is the Chinese cabbage. So I've chopped it roughly, and then I was soaking that for a few hours with in a brine of salted water, just a few teaspoons of water in a bowl of water like that, this size, and then drain it quite well. So this is super important, obviously main basic ingredient. And another super important ingredient is to make a rice flour paste. So this basically looks like that. It's quite gloopy. Again, I've used here around 4 tablespoons, big tablespoons of rice flour, with probably around 500 ml of water, something like that. Once you do it, you just kind of put some more water if it becomes too thick. Rice flour is very forgiving. It doesn't really lump up, nothing really happens with it. So if the mixture became too thick, not an issue, just put some more water in it and just mix it well, and it's brilliant. So it's a very, very easy thing, very easy flour to work with as well. Carrots, quite good things to have. But again, if you all of a sudden, oh my god, I don't have a carrot, like honestly, just leave it. It's okay to use some other vegetables like turnips and some kind of nice root vegetables. Beetroot could work really well, although the colors may be quite funky with the whole kind of gochugaru, which I'm gonna show you in a second. Then spring onions, again, not essential, but very good thing to have. And I found in my fridge today loads of leeks, which, as you can see, are a bit dodgy, but they are perfect for kimchi, because they will be fermenting anyway. So we'll just chop off some ugly bits, and then the rest will just follow. And a third super essential ingredient, and we cannot do kimchi without it, absolutely no, is the gochugaru Korean chili. That's something that gives distinct kind of acidy / really hot flavor. Now with that guy, you basically add as much or as little as you wish. So you can make a very mild kimchi, adding just a little bit of gochugaru, or you can just go for it when then your mouth will be numbing. So again, this is another play part. So if you really want to play in the kitchen, kimchi is like amazing, because not only you can do anything, you can put all the stuff. Wild garlic season now, it's brilliant, like wild garlic leaves in a kimchi. Experiment with some big radishes and things like that. Just, and the same with the gochugaru amount. So kind of see how you feel about the spiciness. So probably the first one will be quite funny, or maybe not the way you wanted it. Not an issue, because as I go and chop, I'll tell you what can you do with a kimchi that kind of didn't work like the way you wanted it. But let's get on into in a second. So my cabbage is already done, it's already drained, it's already waiting here. So now I'm going just to make some I'm going to take this carrot and use my very good and trusted Thai peeler. So that works for a second, and I'm just going to julienne quickly my carrots. So what can you do with the kimchi that didn't go the way it should? For example, you think it's not spicy enough, and don't try to add more gochugaru later. It's not gonna work because it's already fermented, so it's just gonna be without this depth that's developed, you know. However, or equally, if it's too spicy and you cannot just eat it. So kimchi is amazing in broths. So it's really fantastic. So if you make a simple broth, you know, simple vegetable broth, even you got leftover of the soup or anything like that, and you are quite bored because you know you are having the same kind of vegetable soup for 2 days, just chop the kimchi in, and it's gonna transform it into something really else. So I definitely recommend doing that. Another thing, you can fry it with rice, with some vegetables. You can generally fry kimchi and it's amazing. It loses a lot of the spiciness, it's a bit more mild, and obviously the more, if you add some carbs like rice to it, then it becomes less spicy straight away because we distribute the spiciness equally. So that's the really good kind of couple of tricks you can do. So try not to just throw it away. I had loads of questions about funky flavor or funky smell. Okay, so any one of you who's been fermenting now, your kitchen's gonna smell funky. I mean, just deal with it, okay? When I go into fermentation, I think I might start next week because the temperatures dropped. It was like this 33 degrees were a bit too much almost for vegetables because they ferment so fast, and sometimes it's just a bit too much, and I had few explosions in my on my ladder. Because it all bubbles up, but I'll go into bubbling later. But yeah, it will smell funky. I mean, just embrace it. I mean, I love it. It is funny flavor, it is funny smell, but that's why the more you do it, the more you ferment, the more you become familiar, and your nostril and your taste buds, they will develop naturally the taste for it, and you will be able to distinguish between, okay, that is good. Okay, this stuff is not so good. So yeah, that's I'm not gonna go into too much detail of fermentation. I'm planning on doing the next video on cauliflower and cauliflower leaves. When we do that, I will then tell you all about the mold and things like that. What is the good mold and how to deal with it quickly, and what is the blue mold, not so good for us, and as well, not only ferments, so, and especially the brown one. But I'm not gonna touch that subject today because it's just gonna be info overload. We don't need that. Anywho, so whilst I was chatting, I've got it all ready, my carrots. Then I'm gonna use the microplane grater, which is one of the best things in the kitchen. If you can, like, they're not the cheapest thing in the world, but they are forever. So if you can get your hands on one, strongly recommend it. Yeah, it deals with the ginger, garlic, but also your nutmeg, your spices extremely quickly and extremely well. So yes, definitely working. So I love ginger in my kimchi, and I think you should add some ginger. Even if you don't have a good relationship with ginger, I think it just adds this required heat, but a different type of heat. Because we're gonna have a spiciness from gochugaru, but we're not gonna have the same spiciness that we get from ginger, which is a freshness. So it's a bit of a different type of spiciness. So I'll definitely say try to do it, and it's of course medicine, natural medicine as well. So yeah, we eat kimchi, and that's great for the flavor properties, but all the fermentations, all the ferments are just extremely healthy for us, just because they are full of natural bacteria and natural antibiotics. So that's another reason, especially in winter, for your immune system. But I mean, I'll eat them all the time anyway. So so yeah. So how to eat kimchi? Quite a lot of people are asking because kimchi all of a sudden started to be so popular and like, oh, you know, we want to eat kimchi all the time, but we don't know what to do with it. But you know, everyone's talking about kimchi. Okay, so you can eat it with anything. You can eat it with your burgers, especially my real food burgers, which you can order online. You can eat it with any, just treat it as a side dish, basically. Put it in a sandwiches, put it in a toasties. I mean, that will be amazing. Kimchi is really good when it's warmed up as well. And just see how you feel with the small amounts to begin with, and then just increase the amounts. But yeah, you can pretty much eat it all the time. Okay, so I'm gonna have quite a lot of ginger here. I think that's pretty much enough for the moment. Then I'm gonna squeeze quite a lot of garlic inside. Again, try not to get rid of the garlic. Like, it's extremely important in kimchi. It's generally extremely important. I know that there are a few diets that are avoiding garlic and onions. That's fine, if that's your personal choice. Try to make it without, maybe use the wild garlic instead, then you wouldn't have to use this garlic if that's a difference for you. But I generally think that more garlic the better. So I have few cloves here. Like I said, I'm not giving you specific amounts because this video is not for the purposes of actual recipes, just more to show you how confident you can be making stuff like that yourself. So this is here. Then I'm gonna take spring onions and just chop them nicely and diagonally, quite large actually, because remember that anything that ferments is shrinking. So anything we're gonna put into this mixture, into the jar, and it's gonna go into fermentation, it's gonna shrink equally. So if we're gonna chop it really finely, we're just not gonna actually see this. Then my leek. So I'm just going to get the outer leaf out because, like I said, my little fellow here was just a bit tired. I think I might have forgotten about him in the kitchen and the fridge. So, but luckily, I visited yesterday my favorite Korean shop. Then I saw my Chinese cabbage and I was like, yes, this is gonna happen today. We're making kimchi. Okay, so this is my veg mixture here. So what it is, it's everything. So it's carrot, ginger, spring onions, leeks. Now the gloop, so rice flour gloop. So I'm going to pour it over here. Not all of it because I'm gonna make tons of kimchi today, but I'm not gonna bore you by just looking at me and mixing things. So I'm just gonna show you the first batch, and then I'm gonna leave you alone and finish that in peace. But so this is gochugaru. It already kind of woofed me with this spiciness. So I'm going to initially start with probably around 2 big tablespoons. And now you're gonna use your hands, hands only, just because you really wanna rub it in. Now a lot of people, a lot of recipes as well, asking to use the gloves, just because it can burn you, because we tend to touch our eyes without controlling it and things like that. That's fine, if that's something you want to do. I'm just very used to not to be using gloves when I cook. So I just wash my hands really well, and then I remember that they are very spicy probably now. So the mixture I want to kind of achieve in here is not liquid, but it's a kind of paste. So it's a kind of pasty thing. So I think this is pretty much okay. Remember, it's gonna give us a bit of a liquid. Now, salt. Some people use salt for kimchi, some people don't. You know, salt will speed up the process of fermentation, 100%. It will also make it a bit more liquidy. So you're gonna have a lot of liquid kimchi juice, which is fine because you can actually use it for kimchi fried rice. But if you prefer not to, not an issue. Again, it's kind of like your choice. Okay, so now we're gonna start. So I'm gonna take batch by batch of my Chinese cabbage. So, and then I'm gonna take a big handful of this paste. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start rubbing. Basically, that's all I'm doing. Oh, I think you can actually see it, looks great. So now you really wanna make sure that you are rubbing everything in. So you're rubbing all of your kimchi paste onto your Chinese cabbage leaves. By squeezing and rubbing, we also already kind of speeding up the process of fermentation. Okay, so this is already there. Cool. So it's gonna look like that. So can you see? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So it's basically, you know, no brainer. It's basically really well wrapped cabbage. Then onto the big jar. So yeah. So I'm gonna probably use 2 jars today because I have so much cabbage. But when I make kimchi, you know, I then take it to events. I sell it. I cook with it all the time. So obviously, I need a lot of kimchi in my life. I give it as gifts as well, so probably a very good thing not to go to the supermarkets, but instead cook for people and give them with a jar of kimchi. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna quickly clean my hands roughly. So, okay, so as you can see, this is not even 1/3 full, but later I'll be using anything that I can is quite long enough, and I'm gonna be making sure that it's really well bashed. So I'm gonna be bashing. This is already helping the liquid to come up because kimchi doesn't have to be covered in a liquid, just like sauerkraut. However, it has to have some liquid to make sure it doesn't form the mold on the top, like the bath mold. So we want to make sure it has got, you know, a bit of a layer of the liquid. And every day we will be checking out if it's actually created a layer of a little liquid we wanted. You can also open the jar and bash it more and squeeze it in, and probably in time you'll see that the kimchi is going down and down and down and down. That's good, it's already fermenting. So we're gonna keep it for around 3 days in a room temperature. With these temperatures outside in the UK, I think this is enough. You can be opening that every single day. You can smell it. What it's gonna smell like? Something that if you can imagine something that smells like sparkling fizzy drink that's spicy, that's probably how your kimchi is gonna smell like. It's also gonna, when you're gonna open the jar, it's gonna like woof you with the spiciness and with a very distinct smell. But that's good, of garlic, ginger, chili, and a bit of a fermentation. So you're gonna keep it there for 3 days. I'll recommend you tasting it, but please make sure that you will not use the same fork twice, because this is the bad bacteria in our mouth and this will ruin everything. So just make sure you use the clean, very clean fork and use it only once. Taste it. If it's kind of like a fizzy and you know that it's crunchy, it's, you know, that it's wilted, this is a good kimchi. The more it ferments, the more distinct flavor it has got. The moment you put it in the fridge, the fermentation slows down. It still ferments a bit, but massively, massively slow down. So if you are happy with the flavor of the kimchi once you've done it, perfect. Then wait no longer. Maybe you want to transfer it into a smaller jars, because this one will never fit in my fridge, but that's fine because I'll transfer it into the small jars. And here we go. You've got kimchi, homemade, with no weird ingredients that sometimes are present in kimchi, just to make it, you know, packable, I guess. No need for it, really no need for it. You've got beautiful jars. Give them to someone you love, and enjoy your journey, because fermentation is a really fascinating journey. And don't be scared, nothing can go really wrong. But drop me a message if you want more. And then yeah, looking forward to seeing you soon. Cheers.